Meow. 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 Yeah, there we go. Whoa, Rio on camera. Holy crap. Look at that wild little critter. There he is. Let's see. Can we even see him? Oh. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, focus. Yeah, there he is. That's the baby. He's the youngest. The youngest, maybe not the toughest, but he's pretty tough. Yeah, this is what it's all about. But alright, let's get real. Jump in the car. Talk about some legs. I lied. One more has appeared. He's the oldest. He looks like Mike Sommerfeld with his mustache. There we go. Yeah, now we're working. We'll do one more old school, but I'll go back and forth. We'll go back and forth between Fancy Pants 4K and a lift that looks like it came from back in the day. You know, that sort of deal. But plan today is going to be some legs, and just as a little tip, dude, I don't even understand how there's cat haters out there. It just, well, I mean, I guess, really any kind of animal hater specifically, it's like, oh, dude, I can't do dogs, man. Dude, I can't do dogs. You have a dog? I'm not coming. You can come here, I'm not going over there. Yeah, what a fucking punk loser. Right? Not cool. So, if you've got man, Instagram lets you comment photos. YouTube, you gotta catch up. I want to see some freaking cat family posts. Right? See who's got the craziest combination of critters. Right now, we're actually overpopulated because we're fostering 3 little kittens for the shelter. So, you know, even if you're not totally certain about keeping them, you know, you can go check them out. A lot of sometimes kittens will get like a little upper respiratory kind of thing, and they just need to be sort of quarantined from other cats. So the gist is like, dude, can you just take care of these cats for 3 weeks and bring them back to us? Right? Not a bad test run. You know, they pay for all you do is pick up the food and everything. It's pretty seamless. You know, so if you've got an animal shelter around, you know, make a little group trip out of it. It's always freaking fun. But getting back to the lift at hand with legs today, what am I thinking? What I'm thinking I'm gonna go fucking nuts. Try to get as pumped as possible, and in doing so, stimulate some quad and hamstring maintenance, and potentially add some level of degree of muscle maturity. So what I mean by that is, if I don't gain a single pound of muscle over the next, let's say, let's say even 5 years, right? Let's say I just stay the exact same 230 something. Over those 5 years, I will still change my appearance as long as my body fat is about the same kind of level, just because of the kind of gradual adaptation of your muscle fibers. Like, your muscle does not only get larger, it gets a little bit more intricate, right? A good analogy for that is looking at a little sapling, right, of really any variety. The bark is just one smooth outer coating. You know, there's nothing fancy or textured about it, and that's what I would call beginner muscle, right? When I look back at me at 160, I didn't have any grain or striations or, you know, fucking anything. But now, after, you know, however long of training, size development, just different kind of whatever, now if I hit a really good back pose and I can see my Christmas tree climbing up, or I can see some feathering in my quads, or, you know, wherever else, then that changes the situation from that really just kind of smooth little sapling kind of look to what I would call a fucking hardened oak, or whatever tree has the craziest bark. You know, if you're a tree nut, no pun intended, then you could tell me which tree I'm really thinking about. But yeah, so it's not always about size. Sometimes it's about texture, kind of what a bodybuilding judge would call quality of muscle, right? Sort of density. You know, those are kind of buzzwords that get thrown around. So in that sense, there's always something more. You know, it's not purely a size game. It definitely is. You know, like, let's be real. There's nothing beats bigger than bigger. But on the way there, you're just going to get kind of a different look. You know, your biceps are going to get a little more interesting. I mean, I've always had like these little kind of fibrous looking insertions right up toward the top of it. Almost like a little bicep flat spot that kind of develops ish. Just like random little things. Stuff that you may have never seen before. You know, like there's you've got no way to predict where your bicep vein is going to insert or what shape it might be, or it gets really level 1 bicep veins is that big one on the outside, right, the classic one. But level 2 is where you get those like cross arm veins that sort of creep around the sides perpendicular to the muscle fiber and stuff like that. There's no way to predict it. The only thing that you can do is get fucking pumped to hell and see if you can uncover them. You know, see if you can fucking, you know, discover new, I mean, really, to say new territory is not a bad way to put it. But, yeah, so for legs today, don't think I'm going to do any kind of crazy squats. I just did some heavy bench like 4 days ago, 3 or 4, and I can already still like feel it in my chest, and not in like a good sore way, but in like a tendony kind of tense sort of way. So if I'm going to keep staying leaner, I'm going to back off a touch. I'm going to be extra concerned, or not concerned, but extra careful about not overdoing it weight-wise. So this isn't going to be a 10-plate leg day on leg press. At least I don't think so. I'll see how I feel. But what I'm more concerned about is trying to get my legs as pumped as possible, and in doing so, you know, well, I guess not in doing so, but by doing really good squeezing, kind of burning sets in tandem with some heavier, or just maybe even the same weight, but more fast executed sets. So, you know, it's not as though there's a specific science to it, right? Like lifting is not baking. Lifting does not require this exact execution of steps for the end result. It's a little bit more of a kind of, you know, flow and energy type situation, where even if physically my knees and my quads are totally primed for some leg extension, let's say there's like 4 of them, and this one just, like, it objectively just feels the best on the day. If some reason, you know, in my head I'm just not really feeling it, well, then I might not get as good of a set out of that leg extension in particular compared to the next one, you know, or a leg press, or a pendulum squat, or a leg curl, or whatever else. So I'm not looking at this workout right now thinking, okay, I'm developing a plan. I know what I'm going to do exactly to the T. Every rep, set, weight, everything, I already know what I'm going to do. That's just not how I'm going into it. And I think, for me at least, I don't like doing it like that, because it's not as kind of just fun, is a good way to put it. So what I'm thinking is I have a basic framework of what I want the workout to look like. I know by the time I've done about 6 sets of hamstring curls, as long as they were good sets, that's probably about as much as I can get out of them, and I should move on to quads. You know, if I think 8 is better, I'll do 8, but around 6. So that means I might do a seated curl, a laying curl, a standing reverse curl, and if I do 2 of each of those, then I can tell my hamstrings are swollen, burning, tight, tense, just fucking stimulated, then I can say, all right, let's move on to quads. And then vice versa with quads. All right, I like leg extensions. Maybe we'll get some sissy squat supersets, maybe some pendulum, maybe some leg press, depending on how my legs are feeling, or, you know, whatever. And even on a more set-by-set basis, like, okay, instead of this movement, light squeezing, let's do kind of a faster pump set. Or let's do one where it's super slow, hold it for 2 seconds. Or go up halfway, pause, then finish the rep, come back down. Little things like that. Like there's a million variables where you can change up your workout and kind of just tune it for the current version of yourself on the day. And I think that's a good way to do it, you know? You don't, I guess guess there's not a lot of other things that kind of work like that. But if you wrote out a specific workout plan on paper, every set, every whatever, I feel like that just doesn't leave any room for adjustment. Because what if this set and this set and this set actually don't really feel that good? And I can tell I'd be better off doing like 3 other different things, you know? So it's not as though I'm anti-planned workouts, but I'm just very pro accommodating any variables on the day, right? If I come in and my knees are really tender and I'm like, okay, I'm not even, if even leg extensions light, I feel my knees or something, you know? I don't think they are, but let's say they did. Well, okay, fuck, I probably shouldn't squat. I should probably just let my knees chill, okay? And that's gonna make me say, all right, let's really wreck hamstrings. Hamstrings was in trouble, but now hamstrings is on the chopping block and they're about to get killed, you know, something like that. Whereas if somebody is so just constrained isn't a bad way to put it, with, okay, I'm gonna do this exact thing, then if anything's out of place, you know, I think it's just potentially an anxiety-inducing situation. Not like a lot. I'm not talking panic attack anxiety, but just a little bit of that feeling of like, crap, what the hell do I do now? You know, and I never want to feel like that. I don't want to feel uncertain when I'm in the gym. So even if I go up to a machine, I'm like, all right, I'm about to kill this leg press. Warm up, 5 plates, okay, sweet. 6, 7, 8, nah. No, I can tell if I go any heavier for a real set, it's going to do something to me. All right, let's do something else. Lose as little, let's just say, momentum as possible in that process, and then just get after a whatever, you know, something like that. So don't take that as though you shouldn't track anything, but take it as don't waste your time thinking about what might be the best thing you should do in any given current moment. Just do it, see what happens, and, you know, move on. It's pretty much just fucking life boiled down, if we're being real. But yeah, nothing else to say. I've got a little bit further to drive because this gym's a little bit further away. But I've got a couple errands to run while I'm down here afterward, so I'm cool with that. But yeah, let's just jump in there and go nuts. Let's start basic. The old-fashioned light squeezing, standing curl. It's a lot of machine, but it is well worth it. If your gym has this, you're fucking spoiled. This thing is sick. Same shit. So I'm doing kind of a two-parter, right? Because the first session, or the first section of the set is holding, squeezing. So I'm doing as many as I can where I can actually hold it at the top, and then take a second of breath at the bottom. And once I can no longer really hold it, then switch gears to just pumping out reps. Now I'm still squeezing, of course, but I can't actually get a full hold. But I still think there's juice in the tank of my hamstring, so I want to get that juice out, if you feel me. So let me pick a better song and get fucking real. Holy shit. Holy shit. All right, let's grab a leg extension. All right, same as the leg curls, light, squeezing. A little different though, because I'll alternate between the two. So 10 reps on the left, 10 on the right. Repeat until, repeat until they're burning. Let's put it like that.
Oh my God. Just some leg extension sissy squats. Which if I'm dieting, I was just saying this a second ago, it's like when I come back to heavy stuff, I lose zero strength, I lose no size, and my knees feel awesome.
You can look at it like a
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, if I've been doing like off season for like 8 months out of the year for the last like 3 years, like every diet is like a good break of just pressure and tendon, whatever. But this will be a good finisher. Third foot, all right, gotcha. All right, let's go crazy. Do a little Jekyll and Hyde set. So that means clean, squeezing reps first, add weight, burn out with some heavy ones, and then add a sissy squat after. So I guess it's a Jekyll and Hyde trifecta. Oh shit. Okay, so technically, shirts must be worn at all times, everywhere except for the locker room. But that rule says absolutely nothing about pants. So just leg extensions, nothing crazy, you know, squeezing some some sissy squats. But yeah, I think if I'm gonna keep staying lean for this summer, I'm gonna chill on squats. So 585 is put on hold, unfortunately. But that's okay. What's better? Staying big and lean and not hurting myself, or dogging a badass set of 585 for 10, right? Honestly, I want both. So let's just do this side first and then save that crazy shit for later on. But let's see how we're looking. I feel pretty fucking peeled, but obviously not to the same degree as like, you know, a couple weeks out. But let me zoom in just a touch. I mean, that's a pair of fucking legs if I've ever seen one. You know, you tell me. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I mean, solid hamstring separation. Even just a little bit of hamstring grain on that backside. Calves, I don't know what changed, but over the last few months, my calves have just been getting fucking peeled. Like, way more peeled than normal. I think that's just to do with the fact that the longer you stay lean, the easier it is to stay lean. Or the more lean you can get. I don't know, something along those lines. But yeah, I think just some light-ish kind of quad days are in my future. Now, I'm still bringing it. I'm fucking sweating. I'm out of breath. But rather than the high intensity of like what I'd relatively call the atomic bomb of a crazy set of squats or a few insane sets of leg press, kind of swapping that out for some more long-term or long form artillery fire of leg extension, troops on the ground, sissy squats, you know, kind of just getting a pump in that way. And that's something that I think about. I don't know if you've ever kind of considered this, but with all workouts, assuming you're really bringing it, you've always got these two opposing forces, right? So, I mean, even just one set, I think we can wrap our head around this. The more weight you do, the less reps you do. And on a set-by-set basis, the more intense that your sets are, I think the less sets that are actually necessary. So you can kind of fluctuate that. So if you've got a day where you're not going to explode your knees with insane heavy pressing, well, a set of leg extensions is not so damaging and fatiguing as a set of insane leg press. So just do a few more, right? If the intensity drops, increase a little bit of volume. But if you're dieting like I am now, your main concern is just solid stimulation, calorie restriction, and your cardio. So as long as I get a badass pump, I stick to my calories, and I do my cardio, well, then I'm golden. You know, I don't want to say the pressure's off, but it is substantially easier to maintain than to gain. But there's the added difficulty of sticking to your diet, being more consistent with your cardio, maybe doing a little bit more cardio than normal. So it's always a give and take like that. But yeah, don't expect too much insane heft until I start eating some more food. So it's almost the end of June. So probably July, August. Yeah, probably August-ish is when it'll start creeping back up to, well, let's just call it freak weight. I think freak weight is a good description. But I'm gonna pack this shit up, so I'll see you tomorrow for some chest. And then I'm not sure, maybe I'll go back to the old school camera, or the regular kind of camera. This is fun. And honestly, this camera is so small, I can use just like a little tripod instead of the really big fucking phone one. So that's cool for me. But yeah, if you wanna, I don't wanna overdo it, because this is kind of a special. If you do a special every time, it's not special anymore. But we'll figure it out. I'll see you next time.